Hey guys, so today our warm-up was a quick pattern design. We created geometric patterns using cubes. You can see on my welcome page here, I have several examples of patterns that I've done today. And so this video is to help anyone who maybe didn't quite get it. So we're going to take it slow and see what kind of a cool pattern you can come up with. So I'm going to go to Create New. And 8.5 by 11 is perfectly fine. 8 by 10, whatever you want it to be, vertical or portrait works. We're not really picky about this one. The pattern that we design is going to fill the entire space. So the good news is you design it once and it repeats on its own. So the first thing I want to do is I want to, first of all, clear my space. I always do this. Workspace, reset essentials. It already looked pretty good, but I like to do it out of habit. It's just a great habit to get into. All right, now I'm ready to get started. I'm going to begin with a polygon. All right, so I click the polygon tool. One click and I get the polygon menu. Now your polygon could have any number here. Mine says 6, and that's exactly what I need, 6. So I don't really need to do anything. This size is fine. If I were going to change it, I would change it to 2, but this isn't really a big difference. So I'm just going to leave it and click OK. So the polygon looks great, other than it's in the wrong direction. So what I'll do is I'll rotate it. And I'm going to rotate it, and watch your angle as you're rotating, because we're going for 30 degrees. So when you see 30, then your polygon is exactly the angle you want it to be. Basically, you want the point at the top. Okay, so that part was easy. Next part is easy too. You're going to use your pen tool. Now, up till now, I've said go to your pen tool, go to your pen tool. Well, I'm going to try to make things a little easier now by starting to give you some quick and fast ways to get to the things you need. So by simply going to my keyboard and hitting the P, I've just changed that arrow on my screen to a pen tool. You see the pen tool right there. All right. I'm going to line it up with this anchor. It needs to say anchor. If you don't see anchor, don't click. When you see anchor, click. Come down here, you should see a blue line. Again, it should say anchor. If it says path, don't click. If it says anchor, click. Okay? Once you get that first line, now I want you to click the V on your keyboard. That V is the same as using your selection tool. Okay, so you just click the V. I need the pen tool again, so I just hit the P on my keyboard, look for the anchor, bring it across, look for the anchor, click, left click, and again, if I hit the V, it sort of disengages, and now that line is set. All right, one more line to go. I'm going to, again, click the P. I'm going to click the anchor point, go straight down, click the anchor point, hit the V on my keyboard, and then just click away. And now I have this shape that sort of looks like a weird looking pie. Okay, so I've got this pie. The next thing I want to do is I want to turn this into a cube. So this part is going to take you back a little bit. If you recall, we used the shape builder tool before. So before that shape builder tool will work, look, if I click the shape builder tool right now and I come over here, nothing's happening. Okay, you see that little circle with a line through it? Nothing's happening. Why is nothing happening? Because before anything can happen, I have to select this whole thing. So if I draw a box around it, everything is now highlighted. Now, if I go to my shape builder tool right here, I can left click carry over here, let go of my mouse, and those two pieces have just joined into one piece. While everything is still highlighted, I'm going to do the same thing down here. I'm going to left click, hold, drag, release. And then I'll go over here. Click, drag, release. All right. I've just turned this into 3 simple shapes. All right. So now either hit your V and then click away, or go to your selection tool and click away. But basically we want to disengage. All right. Now we want this to look like a cube. And up till now, I've been trying to teach you shadows, midtones, and highlights, which are all things that we recognize in drawing. One of these days I will choose colors that maybe don't fit that scenario, but I guess I'll stick with it for now. I've done greens already, I've done violets already. Maybe I'll try some, maybe like a blue-green sort of a feel here. I'm looking for a color that I like. This is going to be my shadow side. That's a pretty color. I can go with that. All right. So I'm going to hit the V and disengage. All right. This side is going to be my mid-tone. So this one will be a similar color. In fact, let me go to my swatches over here. I probably should have kept a swatch of that. In fact, if I want to, I can go to my swatches right now, open up swatches, and I can add this. If I just hit the plus sign right there, now this becomes a new swatch and it'll stay on my board and I don't have to try to figure it out next time. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and do that, and I'm going to just call it teal because that's what it sort of looks like, teal. All right, so I have teal now. Now if I click on this and I go to my swatch menu here, there's my teal. Now if I make the teal the same color that it is, I don't necessarily want it to be that dark. So I'm going to go to the mixer palette here, and I'm just going to lighten it a little bit and see what I come up with. I'm not really liking that as much. It is a lighter variation of that teal, but it doesn't have any vibrancy. So you can look into things like that. If you like them, use them. If you don't, then feel free to just use colors in whatever manner you want. All right, so I'm going to go back to my CMYK menu here, and let's see what kind of a gray color I can come up with. First of all, I don't need black in it. I can simply lower a lot of these and it will give me a mid-tone. Okay, so I'm sort of keeping the same angle of these arrows. There we go. That'll work. All right, so this last one will be my lightest. Again, I could go to the teal and then go to my menu here and see what it looks like when I make it really light. It just has a bit of a gray to it though that like I said, I'm not really a fan of, and that's because there's a little bit of black in it. If I get rid of that black, I probably will like the color better. So it's interesting how you can play with these colors and get them the way you want. Anyway, this is going to work. I've got a highlight, a midtone, a shadow. The only thing I don't like about this is I don't like the black outline. So I'm going to highlight the whole thing. I'm going to go to that black outline. I'm going to change that black to white. I'm going to increase the size of it. I want it to be really bold, okay? I want this to have just more of a graphic look to it than an actual cube look to it. So with that being said, I've got a cube designed. I'm going to group it, and I can hit group right here. I'm now going to make a copy of it. I'm just going to hit Control C, Control V. That's always the easiest way to make a copy. Now what do I want to do with it? There's lots of possibilities. Maybe I want it to go right in front. Maybe I want to hold my Shift key and make it smaller and have like a small cube and a large cube. This one could actually sit right on top of the small one. I don't know what this will turn out to look like, to be perfectly honest with you. That's kind of the fun part of making patterns, because you don't really know how they're going to look when you're done. I'm going to drag this down a little bit. And if I want to, I can make one more of these and make this one the smallest yet. So now I'm going to have like this one might need to be smaller. Make sure you hold your Shift key though, because if you don't hold that Shift key, your proportions will not be right. So I can't tell you what this is going to look like. I have no clue. But we're going to give it a try. All right, so I've created this I don't know what this is. Actually, it could be a three-dimensional building if I wanted it to be. I need to group the whole thing. Okay, so I group the whole thing. I'm going to go to Object. I'm going to go to Pattern, and I'm going to go to Make. Okay, hit OK. Oh, and I have a bunch of these little things. Okay, right now it just looks like I have a bunch of them. I don't really necessarily like the way they look. Now you need to look at this tiny little panel here, because this is telling you how these are looking for the moment. I've changed it to brick by row. I can change how many rows, how they're offset. You can see how things are kind of changing. This is what you need to look at though. Try not to look at the big picture behind you, because sometimes that can be confusing. You can do bricks by column. You can do hex by column. When you do hex by column, they begin to kind of overlap each other a little bit. We're starting to get a more complex design here. I'm curious, before I switch to, okay, this one I sort of like. This is hex by row. So I'm going to stick with this one for a second, and I'm going to change the width. I've found that with a lot of things I've done so far, when I go with like a 2 by 2, I get an interesting look to it. But with having 3 pieces here, that might not work. Let's see. I'm going to go back to the 2 because it's interesting. All right, what happens when I change the height? Experiment. All right, so I'm starting to lose some of the design. So I had layered all of those pieces, and by what I might end up doing, well, we'll wait. I'm gonna leave this for a second because I'm not really done yet. There's still overlap to consider. So you have 2 different options here. You have the option of left in front or right in front. So if I click right in front, it just changes, just very can't come up with the word, but very modestly, I guess you could say, the way it's laid out. So you decide which direction you like it. And then we have top and front, which is currently picked, or bottom and front. Now I seem to like the bottom and front better. So this is working a little better for me. Now I might go ahead and try a 4 here. Now they're starting to come together. Okay, now there's no more white space. All right, and so now these pieces all look like buildings that are just kind of like all scattered together. So I kind of like this. I'm going to stop here. I'm going to call this blue buildings. Okay, and then I'm going to go right up here. It's hard to see, so you have to look for it, but it's right here below your tabs, and it says done. And the minute you click that, what should happen is everything should go away, and then all you're left with is that single design that you made. Okay, so when you're done with a single design, you can delete it. You don't even need it anymore. And then you're going to go over to your shape tool, and this time you're going to select a rectangle, and you're simply going to make a rectangle and fill that space. Okay, currently has an outline around it. It has that white outline that we used when we first designed our original piece, and it's got that light blue that we used when we were coming up with our highlight. However, what we're going to do is go to our swatches, because we've just created a swatch, and right there you see when I hover over it, it says blue buildings, and when I click on it, there's my blue buildings. So now I've just created this design. I was able to put them as close to each other as I wanted them to be. So anyway, there's my design. I'm sticking with it. I'm going to go with save, and I don't think I named this, so I'll name it video pattern design, and I'll hit save, and I'll hit OK. And don't forget, you're uploading these to Google Classroom, so you want to save again. You want to go to export and try that again. Export, there we go. Save for web, and save. And so now this design can be sent through Google. Okay, so good luck, and I can't wait to see what kind of designs you guys come up with. All right, bye.